some coffee. So let's get going. So the first one is, am I the a-hole for being pissed that I was forced into babysitting? So I, F31, got a text at 7 this morning from my boyfriend's sister that said, can you please babysit her baby's name? I don't have anyone else, and if I don't go to my court date, I'll get a bench warrant. I'm not that close to her. I see her and my boyfriend's family on holidays, and that's about it. I've never babysat a child before either. My main issue is that I have insomnia, and I take one of my muscle relaxers at 5:45 that morning. I had to take one of my muscle relaxers at 5:45 that morning, and I was so tired from it, I could barely keep my eyes open. My boyfriend was then getting ready for work, and all he said was, well, I guess she asked everyone else and no one else could do it, so she asked for your help. Like, what the fuck? So I'm putting a book. Oh, hold on, like, is he saying it in like a, like, why the fuck would she ask you? Sort of like, she's asked anyone else, so she's asked for your help. Like, what the fuck, why would she do that? Or is it more like, so she obviously asked for your help, like, what the fuck, like, why won't you do it? I don't know. So I'm put in a position where if I say no, she's going to get a bench warrant and be arrested. Great, I hate being put in situations where I don't get to say no. You and me too. I'm in my 30s, and I've been a people pleaser my entire life, just recently learning to say no to do things I don't want to. There's a reason I don't have a baby, there's a reason I was never a babysitter to earn money. I don't like it and I don't enjoy it. I love our kids and my other nieces and nephews, but I don't want to babysit them all. But I didn't want her to go to jail, so I said yes. My boyfriend just stared at me like, and then it's like the two eyes and the lips. I don't know. Until I gave an answer, which I had to do instantly because she just messaged me at the very last minute, which is honestly how she lives her entire life, and it's so frustrating. I just got so pissed off and have been all day, but my boyfriend has acted like I'm being dramatic and overreacting. I just wish for once he would stick up for me because his family is being problematic and causing chaos isn't a new thing, and he never has the guts to say anything to them, any of them about it ever. Am I being the a-hole? Okay. So it's hard to know like whether or not she had plans to do that beforehand. Like she had someone babysitting and they dropped out, but I feel like they would have messaged being like, look, someone was meant to babysit the child, they've dropped out and I don't know what to do, I'm panicking, I need to go to this court date. I know it's very last minute, but is there any way you could do this? I'm willing to make it up to you. That isn't really what was said, but at the same time I don't know if like what she's quoted in there is actually true, because you know sometimes people will alter what the text is that they've been sent, but as always we have to presume truth here. So I mean, this definitely sounds like a real story, right? Just the way in which it's written gives me like the idea that it's real. I mean, it's hard. There is something about being a people pleaser, right? I get it. I have fallen into that trap before, and you should be able to learn to say no to things, but at the same time, there are situations where if you you might end up having to do things that you don't like, and but unfortunately part of life is that, and I'm not saying that she has to do this, but obviously saying no to things does have consequences, and the consequences that like people are going to look at you a certain way. Now that isn't necessarily fair, but like if someone's asked you to do something and they're desperate, saying no to it, if you're ever in a similar situation, you're kind of putting yourself in a position where, if you needed something last minute and she's not going to be willing to help you, then how would you feel? And it's like, it's difficult. It's difficult because you don't want the reverse to happen, which is where you just say no to everything you don't want to do because you have had this history of being a people pleaser. You don't want it to go the opposite direction. I've done things before where I'm like, do you know what? I really don't want to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to say no because that's not the kind of, because life can't always be good like that, But at the same time, having she has a right to say no, and no one can really be angry at her for not saying, especially when there's medicine involved, like saying, look, I've taken medicine, I cannot look after a child. Like, you're going to have to ask someone else, or pay a childminder, or hire a babysitter for this time frame, which is also a question, like, why not hire a babysitter? Or take, like, why can't she take the child to the court? Like, surely there's something involved. Like, I mean, maybe not, but you would have thought, like, given that there are a lot of, like, single parents that can't get away from their children, or maybe can't afford to get away from their children, that those like, courts would have a place where children can be kept. Like a playroom, obviously, not like a jail. So my opinion on that is you have a right to say no, but sometimes, saying no will have consequences, and don't make the mistake of just saying no because you were a people pleaser. But I don't think she's the a-hole. At least that's my opinion. Let's see what people said. Probably not the a-hole. But people said not the a-hole. You're a good person for doing this to the child. A child doesn't need a mother in prison. That's exactly what I thought. Like, would you like saying no, and then the mother going to prison, and the child growing up potentially without a mother, or an absent mother, or a mother that then cannot get work because she's been incarcerated? Like, if that's the case, are you going to feel good about yourself? And, at the same time, like, you've got to protect your own mental health. Like, one day of just looking after a kid is probably is far better than, like, a lifetime of feeling guilty, so that's my feeling on that. Yeah. But there we go. At the same time, like, the boyfriend could have called in and been like, there's a family emergency, I know it's last minute, but I cannot come in. I will inform you afterwards why, but I cannot get into it right now. And, take it from there. Like, if it was that pressed about it, someone else has basically said that they could have called a babysitter. But there we go. Let's move on to the next one. So, am I there for being happy and expressing it when I learn my daughter-in-law and son are using the family tradition? Okay, I don't know why this would be an AR unless there's something interesting going on here, but, so, this has got a tag saying not the AR. I've not seen that on any other post, but there we go. In our family, it is tradition for the girls to be named after a flower. Some examples include lily, poppy, rose, and so on. I love the tradition, and it's something that came from my family side. I have 2 sons and 1 girl. This is about my 2 sons and 2 daughter-in-laws. My first son, Mark, married Kelly. Mark and Kelly had a baby girl and didn't follow the tradition. I was a bit sad about it, but overall it was their kid. That's fair enough, you can be sad about it, but like, don't make a big deal. My other son, Ryan, and his wife, Jenny, announced to the family they were having a girl and would name it after a flower. This was over a family dinner. They told me they would be keeping the tradition alive. I was really happy and gave them a hug. I told them I was so excited for them and grateful they are keeping the tradition alive. I asked if they would like to look at my family books to see if any pops out if they wanted help. They agreed. And I spent an hour looking at names with them. The problem is Mark and Kelly told me I was being a jerk, that I was never that happy when I learned what they had named their first granddaughter, that I need to apologise ASAP. I don't think I did anything wrong, but an outside opinion would be nice. Okay. So no, you didn't really do anything wrong, but at the same time, like, you got to understand, like, there is actually the potential that this Mark and Kelly could feel a certain way about it. Now, everyone's entitled to feel upset for their own reasons, whatever, But I'm not gonna lie, if that was me and I didn't follow a family tradition and there was this big excitement about that daughter, but I didn't feel like there was the same thing for me, it would hurt. Like, I would feel hurt. I don't know if I'd be like, you need to apologise, but I would sit down and be like, look, I I just want to let you know, like, that did actually upset me, because I felt like you were giving more, like, this bigger excitement because of the family tradition, rather than, like, just the fact, like, what the name of the child was going to be, like the name of your grandchild. So I do think Mark and Kelly have a point, but I don't think it's enough that you would be an a-hole. I think it's more of like, maybe you got excited about it and didn't think about that, which of course you wouldn't, because why would you? Because in your mind that's not, like, you are excited about the other grandchild is simply because there's something about the family being carried on, this tradition carrying on, that is, exciting for you. And they made the choice not to follow that tradition. So really, they have to kind of understand that there's a reason for that. So I don't think there's any a-holes in this situation. Particularly, I think maybe Mark and Kelly are leaning towards it by demanding an apology. But I think they probably like yapped at each other about it and like riled themselves up. But in reality, like they do have like a reason to feel upset when like hearing that conversation, I guess. But that's just my opinion. But people are probably calling them the a-hole. Yeah, people are calling them petty and immature. I don't know. I feel like if my mother was super stoked about the name of another child, or like of my sister's kid, over me, it would still upset me. I don't think that's petty and immature. But at the same time, like, especially when that person is replying to someone else that's talking about how the mother is okay for the mother to feel upset about the name of the child, the first child, but like, I guess that she wasn't demanding an apology for not having I don't know, I think people on this app are just so fucking judgmental sometimes. I think this is a really simple situation, it's not that deep. I've been debating putting this on here because I know how vicious people can be, but I need to know if I was in the wrong here. So I, 28F, have an older sister, Melly, 32F, and I got engaged 9 months ago, and wedding preparations are well underway. We are set to marry this August. A few weeks ago I approached some select friends and my sister Melly to be bridesmaids. Interesting. They all accepted and I was very excited. I made a group chat to send a dress inspo for them because I wanted to share my plans with my friends. The pictures I sent were of a colour palette and styles. I told my bridesmaid to pick a colour and stay sort of within the style of the dresses. I thought it looked nice. Oh, interesting. So she's given a colour palette and offered them an option of colours. That's actually way more like open than a lot of other weddings and brides I've seen. Anyway, stay within the sort of style of the dresses I thought were nice, and wrote that I would pay for it because I have the means to do so, and I thought it would be a nice thing to do. So not only is she giving you an option of different dress styles, an option of different colours, but also is willing to pay for all of the dresses. There we go. Oh, here's the next line. My sister is very touchy about money. She doesn't have a stable job, and she often has to ask family members for help with bills. Okay, look, life is life, let's be honest. For the record, I've never judged her for this, and I've helped her in the past when needs be. Alright. Melly saw the message I sent and immediately left the group chat, which confused me, so I messaged her privately, and she asked why she left so abruptly, and she said she didn't need pity money from me. I was really upset that she took my gesture the wrong way, and I told her that it wasn't just for her. I was paying for everyone's dresses because I wanted to. I told her if she wanted to, she could buy her own dress if that made her feel better, and she said she didn't have the money for a dress she would only wear once. This is hard. This is hard. I know what people are going to say on this, but I can already tell this is hard. She then rang me, shouted at me that I was a pompous bitch, and all sorts of other expletives. I just told her if she didn't want to accept my offer, then she didn't have to be a bridesmaid. And better yet, if she wants to be nasty, she can just not come at all. Her best friend Eliza, 32, rang me and told me that what I said to Melly was cruel, and that her, or she might never speak to me again. I'm fine if she wants to take off in half, but I just want to make sure I'm not in the wrong here. Another perspective would be nice. Am I the AO? Look, let's start at the beginning here. You were offered all of these nice things. You have been way more accommodating than many other people. I thought this was going to turn into one like she decided that she was going to pick out of the colour range and all this stuff, but it's not. This is about money. Money is such an issue. Look, I know I'm going to go down into the comments and I'm going to see people calling her an a-hole, but I think sometimes those arguments can come from a bit of a place of privilege. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I'm the only person who has struggled with money, but I have struggled with money, and I know what it is to feel like someone is taking pity on you, and to feel humiliated when someone else is willing to pay for something. And as part of that, it's very easy to get defensive and lash out. She's basically she's obviously taken it like, oh, she can't pay for the dress, so I'm just gonna pay for the dress. And she's like, I don't want you to pity me. I'm not looking for pity. Why don't you buy the dress yourself? Well, I can't do that. But I don't want you to pity me. The argument makes no sense, and that is where I'm starting to feel a little bit of empathy for Millie here. I think calling her a pompous bitch, that's unacceptable. Let's be honest. Let's just call it what it is. It's unacceptable. But sometimes it's hard to tell what is defensive, lashing out in a defensive manner, and what is actually just being a horrible person. And personally, I lean towards the latter. I feel like I personally would say that she seems to be lashing out because she's embarrassed about money. That doesn't mean what she said to the OP is correct or right, and she deserves to not have a sister who is going to make those kind of comments to her. I.e. that the person who the OP is deserves that. But I think this just needs to be a conversation. I think she needs to not be fucking calling over the phone. They need to sit down in a room, and she needs to say, look, let's clear the air here. I wasn't trying to insinuate that you try and pity you. It's my wedding. I want to give something to the, I don't think she should say I have the money, but I don't want other people to feel like that they have to think about the money when it comes to the wedding. I don't want them to think about that. I want the focus to be on finding something that makes them feel amazing, and not to focus on the money. So that's why I'm taking that responsibility. It's a gift, and it's not just for you. It's not a pity, etc. And the sister needs to be able to be like, okay, I overreacted, etc. I have a feeling, because she asks money a lot, I mean, she could always be I could be completely overthinking this and giving her the benefit of the doubt. She could just be someone who likes to scrounge money off people. But I don't know. I felt the reaction is giving me the impression that it's purely defensive. That's how I see that. But she needs to learn to deal with that. Unfortunately, she can't. She reacts that way, she's gonna lose the OP. She's gonna lose friends and other family. But I think once again, these two just need to sit down and have a fucking conversation about it. Not, yeah. I think I can understand why you would just say don't come to the wedding. But do you really want that? If you listen, if she is just being defensive, you might want to just sit down and figure that out, I think, personally. But that's my opinion. Now to go to the comments, where everyone's going to call her the a-hole. Okay. Wow, interestingly, the first person has actually said something very similar. There we go. I think your sister's insecurities are getting the best of her. It's super common this day to help you pay for your wedding's party attire unless explicitly discussed ahead of time, especially if you're requiring they wear a certain style or colour. You didn't do anything wrong. I agree. She didn't do anything wrong other than like maybe reacting back, but like that's understandable. I wouldn't really say that you're an a-hole because of that, you know. People are just discussing UK and US traditions here. Okay, actually, do you know what? Fair enough. A lot of people are actually saying what I said. Funnily enough, that she's sensitive about her poor financial situation, but that doesn't excuse her for reading far more into your offer to pay than was actually intended. And especially does not excuse her using you as her verbal punching bag ever. Yeah, boundaries, they're beautiful things. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think it's any I don't think her behaviour should be excused, but I do think like sometimes it's good to look at the root cause of things and try to sometimes be empathetic. It's very easy to judge people off a single interaction, to judge people off of one thing that they say or do. Now some things in life are obviously bigger than others, but this situation is not one of those things. Clearly she is she's clearly like a lot more insecure about money, and she sounds like she needs like emotional support, or something like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I think we're going to wrap the vid up there. So if you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like on the video. If you are unsubscribed, consider pressing the subscribe button. Click the little bell icon, ding-a-ling-a-ling. The bell icon. That's the noise a bell makes, right? I'm thinking of like those handbells. Anyway. The vids on the other side of the screen. Check them out, and I'll see you in the next one.